My life before Jesus, honestly, it was just kind of like, just going with the flow. Didn't really know what anything meant. Pretty much kind of like struggling, for meaning and purpose.
I started noticing that like he's always with me whenever I went to a camp with church over the summer, and I started to like connect with him because before, whenever I worshiped and I prayed and stuff, I did it and I meant it, but I didn't really feel anything towards him or like feel him coming through to me.
It was turmoil. I had gone through a lot of depression, a lot of anxiety. At the beginning of the year, I actually did decide to try to take my life. I ended up in the hospital for a good 5 days. And then I had to go back into the hospital in April for 2 weeks because I was still very suicidal.
I have always, from the time I was a small child, known about God, learned about God. I grew up in church, going to Sunday school. My earliest memories are when I was 3 years old, going to a Bible study fellowship with my mother and my grandmother. As I got older, I was heavily involved in youth group at church, in middle school and high school. I went on a couple of missions trips as well. And I had this moment with my best friend when we were 16 or 17, and we were just talking about how we've always been in church but have never felt God. And that's always really stuck with me and been in the back of my mind.
Before Jesus, it was kind of unreliant, and I'm not going to say dull, but it was kind of I didn't feel like I had anyone to like rely on when I needed someone.
He's changed my life and helping me accept the fact that I don't have to do things on my own. Growing up, I grew up in an athletic background. I was always doing sports. I always did individual team sports. So it was a lot of wrestling. So I always was taught to do things on my own. Never asked for help, just because when I get there on the mat, it's just me. So I kind of took religion to the same perspective. It hit me. It was like, all these emotions come and go, like my time to shine, my dreams, and everything that I think matters in my life, it doesn't matter. But the thing that always remains the same is God has never left.
I got into a car crash, almost lost my life. Like, God was so amazing. Like, he saved me from the crash. That was like, God, I know this is you. And after that, I was just like, I want to follow God. Like, I don't feel shaken by anything. Like, I feel more positive, and like anywhere I go, like I just don't feel bothered.
He has changed my life because he's been with me in this church, he's been with me in school. He's like guiding me to different people that will help me be with him. He is always like trying to show me that I can be better, that I am okay, and that I like can do what I set out to do.
So I kind of almost feel fearless because I know right now if I didn't have him in my life, that I would not be doing this right now.
It wasn't until 2017 when my family and I moved from San Francisco to Vallejo. And it was then that I started really, my heart just was craving God. My family and I were in a car accident that totaled our SUV. We all came out unscathed. It took me a while to realize, that was an answer to prayer, but at that time I was so angry. But at the beginning of the year, I had felt so weak, wasn't good at anything. By the end of that year, I felt so strong. My marriage was stronger. My relationships in general were stronger. And finally, I felt God.
When I was in the hospital, I had come to the realization that I had been given a second chance. And it really was a second chance because I was overdosing on narcotics And then I was 6 weeks later in therapy, just happier than I probably ever been. And it was just this complete 180 in my life, and I definitely did give that up to being a given second chance.
I'm choosing to get baptized because I have come to understand that I don't have to be this perfect Christian. I'm always going to be this broken, messy, reckless person. And the fact that God is still holding on to me even after all that, it shows who He is. See, I'm broken every day, but He's constantly fixing me. And there's that saying, like, why would you fix something that's broken? Why don't you just get a new one? I mean, it'd suck if God thought that way, because then, like, oh, bye, Ricky. I just get a new Ricky later, but He keeps fixing me.
I need to trust Him. I can't do anything without Him. I can't make things happen. It's Him.
I'm deciding to get baptized because I want to follow in His lead. I want to be able to tell people about Him and be clean and be in His shadow, to follow in His footsteps.
Grew up going to church, but I never really kind of felt I was young. But then, after a month ago, I was like, I have to make it official, and I have to really do it.
I feel like it'll help me have more encouragement to be more of a follower of Jesus and have more confidence in things I do, because I'm not baptized yet and it's already having an influence on my life.
I've waited long enough. I've waited over a year and a half, and I just felt like it was time. I felt like it was my time to fully give myself up.